was the Baseball Hall of Famer George Brett who popularized it, the so-called Mendoza line, the guy with the lowest batting average, who still got his name on the list published in the Sunday newspapers. Named for Mario Mendoza, a shortstop who in his one season as a full-fledged regular batted exactly .198. It's still the unofficial cutoff point, the exact spot in which you have more than nothing, but not enough to be more than mediocre. Our number one story on the countdown, the Mendoza line of presidential politics would have to be winning exactly one delegate. First achieved by John Connally in his bid for the Republican nomination in 1980 at a cost of $11 million. And tonight replicated by Rudy Giuliani, who has indeed dropped out of the race, but his one supporter cost him about $50 million. As we reported to you last night, Mr. Giuliani did indeed endorse Senator John McCain today. Clues about his impending exit were clear 2 days ago, and if Giuliani's disdain for the media was absent then when he gave out signed baseballs to reporters on his campaign plane, it was back, at least in some sort of Freudian way, this morning. The traveling media corps asked to be in the hotel lobby in Orlando at 7:30 to be bused to the airport for the morning flight to California, this according to our correspondent John Yang. Problem? No buses ever showed up. As for the numbers on the Giuliani campaign, it raised $47 million through the third quarter of last year, spent $30, but when the end of last year and the beginning of this year are accounted for, the campaign is expected to have spent about $50 million, and for that he won one delegate in Nevada. Though Giuliani may also count in his column one so-called unpledged RNC delegate from Maine, so call it 1.5. Time for us now to call in the national political reporter of the Washington Post, author of Homo Politicus, Dana Milbank. Dana, good evening.
Good evening, Keith.
Well, what are the souvenirs, actual or metaphorical, that come to mind as you ponder the Giuliani campaign?
Well, how much are you going to give me for this one?
Nothing, actually. Thank you.
Oh, well. I did get my baseball on the plane yesterday, but, we all have a lot of souvenirs. We've got Bernie Carrick and Judith Regan, but I will have the memories. And just think that for the glorious better part of a year, it appeared that the Republican Party would nominate for president a thrice-married serial cross-dresser who lived with two gay men while being divorced from his wife, who was acting in the vagina monologues. And it all seems like a dream now, doesn't it?
Right. On top of which, it just occurred to me, they would have had one of whose ex-wives had been a newscaster, a member of the infamous media. You and I made just the briefest of appearances in one of the last of his campaign ads, so he can't blame it on us, right? And nor can we take credit for it.
No, if anything, it was too little, too late. I think it was the right tactic, but very late in the game. In fact, just as he was going down in flames Monday, he put out an ad titled "Not Endorsed." He was bragging about all the newspapers that had endorsed McCain. But running against the media will only get you so far.
And we're analyzing this, of course, as one of the great political collapses of all time. Are we all wet about this? I mean, personally, did he not just, in fact, preserve, maybe expand his little 9/11 money-making machines, the law firm and the security firm and the speaking engagement tour?
Sure. If anything, this has been will be a great boom for that. Certainly, the sheikhs of the United Arab Emirates will be happy. And let's be gracious to this man here. He, unlike certain people in this race whose name begin with Willard, he has been able to keep relatively true to his original principles on abortion, on gay rights, and things that really were very costly to him. So at least he has left with some shred of dignity intact.
Well, what did this mean in his endorsement of Senator McCain today? He said he'd be campaigning for the senator unless he was in trouble. Are we assuming that's a joke, or was there some sort of scandal looming out there?
Unless he's expecting that Bernie Carrick has some more of those photos in drag that are going to come out during Discovery here. But let's hope not.
Of all the postmortems on the campaign today, many of them noted that he did not really skip New Hampshire, despite that sort of meme that went out there. He put a lot of money in his time there. The numbers kept dropping, basically, and then he spent less time there, said he probably wouldn't win, lowered expectations, spent 7 weeks in Florida, and then every week the numbers dropped. So there was a trend that was visible to him. Is that what we're thinking happened last night?
Yeah, it's true, and I suspect we're all talking about the spectacular collapse now, and it was spectacular, but I believe when the history is written, the odd thing will be not the collapse, but the fact that he was able to sustain it for very long merely by saying 9/11 over and over again, and then when McCain got his footing back, it all fell apart.
And Joe Biden's coinage of that sentence, that is perhaps one of the immortal, that will be, when we talk about the Giuliani campaign, that one line that gets in the encyclopedia for 2008, Biden's line will be
also
included
the
with
signal achievement of the Joe Biden campaign.
I'd like to think he'd laugh about that. Last thing, just one bit of political news here. McCain and endorsements and picking up steam and all that. All throughout the day there have been stories about the possibility that even Arnold Schwarzenegger would come out for John McCain. Does that appear to be imminent?
Well, there are a lot of people piling on right now. Certainly, momentum seems to have shifted McCain's way. There are reports out tonight that Romney is not very eager to invest more of his children's inheritance in a very expensive battle. And between that and the Giuliani endorsement of McCain, it's certainly going to be very hard for Romney to regain his footing.
All right, well, we're going to have a Schwarzenegger-McCain news conference, so unless McCain's looking to bulk up and get some steroids, I guess it's going to have to be about that. Dana Milbank of the Washington Post, MSNBC, with a Rudy Giuliani baseball for sale. Contact him directly. Thank you, Dana.